13-Week Theater is supported by Patreon. Subscribe now and get exclusive early access.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Almost from its start, television has loved shows about, well, television. From behind-the-scenes documentaries to shows set at fictional stations to self-parody and satire, many of these shows went on to become well-loved examples of TV at its best. But one of them would go down in infamy as the most offensive show in history.
Just in case anyone should be feeling out of touch with the world, we'll be offering news and weather summaries across all 5 channels. That's BSB's 5-channel strategy. Music, sport, movies, documentaries, laughs. It's all there when you want it, a massive increase in choice for the British viewer. I think you'll agree. BSB has...
In 1990,
right.
Britain's BSB satellite service was eager to increase the amount of original programming on its Galaxy channel. Mostly populated with American imports and reruns from the BBC and ITV, Galaxy finally decided to take a chance on an original sitcom. To that end, they greenlit a show created by writer Jeff Anderson, who had worked with such talents as Douglas Adams, Lenny Henry, and John Lloyd, and been one of the main writers on the satirical puppet show Spitting Image. Anderson wanted to make a parody of American high-concept sitcoms of the 1960s, where he said just about any ridiculous idea you could think of could be made into a sitcom. And the concept he chose?
Heil, honey, I'm home!
Heil, Honey, I'm Home would reimagine Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun as a married couple living in an apartment in America in 1938. Stories would center around the same types of scripts that were common in family sitcoms of the 50s and 60s, along with an ongoing feud between Adolf and his Jewish next-door neighbors, Arnie and Rosa Goldenstein. The show's conceit would be that it was supposedly a lost U.S. sitcom from the 1960s, whose tapes had recently been rediscovered and were finally being broadcast. So, what do I even have to ask? First, the show's problems started even before it aired. Canadian actress Danica Fairman, who played Ava, had only signed a contract for the pilot and refused to take part in the actual series. Seeing a need to redo the show's opening credits anyhow, producer Paul Jackson decided to make fun of another staple of mid-century sitcoms the show was supposed to be parodying, the animated opening.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Hello.
I'm home. Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Smile, honey. Because I'm home. Gee, it's great to be Top Gun, but it's nothing like the fun that I get when I say Heil, honey, I am home. Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Smile, honey. Gee, it's great to be back. Heil, honey, I'm home.
Another change that reportedly began with episode 2 was the addition of a running gag, which would involve Hitler trying to kill the Goldensteins and repeatedly failing, which one commentator likened to Lucy and Ethel go to the Wannsee Conference. In all, 13 episodes were ordered. There are disputes about how many episodes were actually produced, with sources giving numbers ranging from 8 to 11. Galaxy aired the pilot episode on September 30th, 1990, immediately after an episode of the BBC's World War II sitcom Dad's Army. They even used the connection between the shows as a selling point during the continuity announcement.
And unless Arthur Lowe defeats him, the man himself in a few moments in Heil, Honey, I'm Home as the Galaxy Comedy Weekend continues.
The pilot opened with a scene right out of The Honeymooners.
What did I do now? Oh, tonight you were making schnitzel. What a joke! You must be real mad at me, honey. I'm a very, very bad Hitler. Come here, babe.
Don't touch me. You've been late for your dinner every night this week.
Ava, babe, please. I'm the Fuhrer. I'm a busy man. I can't just walk off the job at 5 o'clock.
On Monday, you had to meet with Goebbels. On Tuesday, von Ribbentrop. On Wednesday, Klaus Katzenjammer. Who's Klaus Katzenjammer?
He's my tailor. You should see the tux, honey.
You see, everyone's more important than Ava. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Schickelgruber. You may be big stuff in Germany, but I knew you when you were just a house painter.
Boy, this is going to be some night.
And then transitioned into the boss is coming to dinner sitcom trope, with Hitler telling Ava that he had someone important coming to dinner.
Tomorrow, I got Neville Chamberlain coming over here.
Tomorrow? You've got the Prime Minister of England coming over here to the apartment tomorrow, and you don't tell me so I can get something out of the icebox?
Hey, honey, if you're going to get on my back about everything, I'm not going to tell you why he's coming.
You don't need to tell me why. I know why. It's Czechoslovakia. You finally did it, didn't you? You finally went one step too far, Mr. Big Shot. Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Now, whether by coincidence or design, the episode aired on the actual anniversary of the Munich conference where Neville Chamberlain agreed to let Hitler annex Czechoslovakia. Whether that was coincidence or malice, I will leave to you. Complaints started flooding in minutes after the show began and continued to increase as time went on. The show's obvious flaw was that while comedians ranging from Mel Brooks to Monty Python had successfully created comedy around Hitler, they'd been making fun of the Nazis when they did so. Heil, Honey, I'm Home just used the Nazis for cheap gags while making fun of television. And at some points, it was like they were trying to humanize Hitler. From the first second of the show to the very last, the show reeked of bad taste and bad judgment, and no one was really ready to defend it. By the time the final credits had rolled, the SB realized just how big a mistake they had made, and they immediately canceled the show. The Galaxy Channel would never get another original sitcom, or any other original programming for that matter. A month later, Rupert Murdoch's Sky Television bought out BSB, and Galaxy unceremoniously signed off on the 2nd of December, 1990, giving Heil, Honey, I'm Home the distinct honor of not only being one of only a handful of shows killed off after a single episode, but being a show that destroyed a network and its parent company. For decades, the show was assumed lost except for one VHS copy, which eventually made its way online. A rumor began that the remaining episodes had never actually been shot, and that the pilot had actually been a one-off special commissioned just to cause controversy. However, in 2016, actor Gareth Marks, who played Arnie Goldenstein, included clips from unaired episodes in his online demo reel. And also in 2016, YouTube user Paul Carmichael uploaded the animated opening created for later episodes, along with videotape countdown clocks supposedly for the first 8 episodes, accompanied by a previously unheard instrumental version of the theme, which had been created for the end credits. Carmichael claims to have copies of all 8 episodes, which took him 15 years to track down and archive. He refused to release them online, citing rights issues, but says that he's turned them over to professional archivists with hopes of eventually arranging for the rest of the series to finally be seen. The question is, however, do we really want to see it?
Gee, it's great to be Top Gun, but it's nothing like the fun that I get when I say Heil, honey, I am home. Heil, honey, smile, honey. Gee, it's great to be back. Heil, honey, I'm home.
Monkey.